All right. Khun, do you mind reading one of your favorite poems to us and telling us what you think it means?
Okay, I will read it in Thai ใครบางคนลาจากกันไปถ้วยกาแฟบางถ้วยยังคงอยู่เก้าอี้เหงากับโต๊ะบาร์ที่เกี่ยวบุหรี่ซากจักรยานของใครบางคนที่จอดทิ้งไว้ใครบางคนบอกว่าจะมาเจอกันอีกเป็นคำสัญญาที่ผูกมัดไว้กับสิ่งของเหล่านั้นและบางครั้งสักวันที่ว่าอาจเป็นแรงขับดันในชีวิตของใครอีกคน
Damn, wow. It's so much better in Thai. Okay, all right. Please continue. What do you think this means here?
I think the author just trying to portray like the scenario that the woman just walk away from his life and then he talking about those little things that they were used together like the coffee cups, the ashtray, the bike, but now it is the wreckage bike. It is a lonely chair. It is a lonely ashtray. It is coffee cups that just still there. So I think it means that it just stay there for a while, so it doesn't be used, and also then they just I think they're just talking in an objective way that I mean in the subjective way that these little things haven't been touched since someone's gone, and then he's talking about the promise that binds and those words that we always say that sometime or someday we will meet. He said that it may be the driving force in someone else's life, just like it may be the only thing that keeps someone's life that sometime or someday said by someone who just living.
Ooh, I like the last part. That was good. Wow. I
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
some.
Like I'll give you my personal, very personal interpretation. Okay. It starts with a story, right? Once upon a time, a long time ago, I was a single guy at some Korean club in Los Angeles, and there was a very beautiful Korean girl there, and I did not really speak a drop of Korean. I asked my cousin, hey, how do you say you're pretty in Korean? And he's 나는 이쁘다, right? It's where like you are pretty. Some basic stuff. And I went up to this girl and I said that to her, and then we took her away from the club while my cousin was screaming and yelling to us 80s and 90s rock music driving from Los Angeles to Orange County, and these girls thought that we kidnapped them. Uh, After we got there, they didn't want to go into the house, and then I offered to drive them back to their hotel, and it was three girls. And and then, for a couple months, I started dating this Korean fob, a fresh off the boat Korean girl that came from Korea to Los Angeles. And, all of the dates with her were like, I was this dreamer and I was this hopeless romantic. Parts of me still are, and like it was always someday we'll do this. And then she used to joke, right? And she would used to make fun of me, and she would always say like, "Oh, it's always someday," you know. And then I would usually say something like, "We're doing this now." For example, I remember hiding some flowers in my jacket when we were in San Diego, and like she was walking off somewhere, and then I went upriver and then dropped the rose petals into the water, and then she saw them going under the bridge, right? And so that's what this poem represents to me. It's that sometimes, someday, when you say this phrase to someone in English, it's that you're hoping for a really beautiful moment in the future that you can envision, just like a vignette, right? Um, and it's where that driving force is the thing that really makes me love this poem, right? And like that's the end point, right? That's the end of the lab report if it were a poem, right? And that's what I like about it, that's what I love about it, where you have this imagery in line 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, right? 4, right? And then it's where it starts to connect two entities, right? And then it goes meta, which is that promise. And then after that, it's meta and many degrees, where it starts to be that there's something that's been left alone and it sparks a moment of someday that two people may have dreamed of a better future, and then that dream might be what's keeping another motherfucker going. Right, and like not giving up, right? And so that's what I love about this, because you know, some guy writing this, some lady writing this, some person writing this, had the same thought as me sometimes, you know. And it's that language wasn't a barrier, it's not that life was a barrier, or it's not that distance was a barrier. Yeah, it's quite beautiful. Yeah, cool. Okay, all right, done. All right, teamwork. That was good. Good recording. Okay, all right. Okay.